Alrighty, everyone. Welcome. Good evening to you guys. It is a Sunday night, April the 10th. I'm Justin. Let's get our heads right on here on this beautiful Saturday night and say good afternoon to Trey. Trey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
All right. We're finally at the end of this whole marathon, week-long marathon that we are excited to wrap up here tonight. Listen, I think let's not waste any time. Let's get right down into business. I know that I did pop up a question yesterday about about a certain subject that was going to be the question of the day, but I do want to just maybe kick that off in today's show and then bring on the other question I have for the segment, and that is going to be when you look at the Usos going after now the Raw tag team titles, there is different ways that one you could look at how the WWE is going to go about this. If this, I mean, there is a above 50% chance that it's going to happen at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what will the WWE look like after it happens? Because SmackDown doesn't necessarily have a lot of tag team, team fractions on their roster. And Raw has a good amount. I mean, at least that has been used week in and week out in the whole conversation of the Raw Tag Team Championships. But when you combined it, what does that do? Because I know yesterday we talked a little bit about Roman Reigns and what should how should Roman Reigns kind of defend his title. Now let's take a look at this tag team title and the tag team division with the Usos with the SmackDown tag team titles going over to Raw, trying to get the Raw tag team titles off of Orton and Matt Riddle. I think that is something that I feel is much more heavier to talk about today in a question of the day. And I know it's kind of not even worded as a question, but let's do topic of the day. How about that? Is that
Yeah.
better?
Mm-hmm.
So, which leads me to this. Last night, I was kind of teasing that we're going to talk about the possibility of seeing Pat McAfee and Corey Graves at next year's WrestleMania. Now, Corey Graves earlier this year just got medically cleared to compete on, in the ring again. At least according to sources and I believe Corey Graves himself. But I think that, Igor's the question is that, okay, just because he is cleared to compete, will he compete? Will, compete? And if so, who will his first match be?
I definitely feel like if he is medically cleared, I don't think he should wait an entire year to have his first match.
Now, I mean, could he come back sooner, but next WrestleMania leading up to a Pat McAfee? I mean, are you okay? I guess let's ask the question first. Would you, if they decided that they were going to give Pat McAfee another WrestleMania spot, Trey, who would that person be?
I mean, me myself, I don't want to see another two announcers fighting each other.
I mean, we did see this back with Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole. This is a completely different standpoint. And I feel like, okay, if you think about this, it could be a year-long feud that these two guys have leading into next year's WrestleMania. Now, if they built this up and they could build it up properly where maybe they've actually tell you a storyline some way, shape, or form, would you still not be interested in seeing this match, Trey?
I mean, I would be interested in it just because I really enjoyed Pat McAfee's performance and
Okay,
I've
then
never seen Corey Graves fight.
right, because I think the only time we saw Corey Graves was when he was with NXT and he got hurt at his NXT. This was back when Seth
Mhm.
Rollins was in NXT too. So, um, I guess it just for me, because Pat McAfee did so well, and I wouldn't even say that he did so well at WrestleMania, Trey, but because Pat McAfee really entertained people at WrestleMania this year, I think if you were have to throw another now, I could see here and say, yeah, we don't want any outsiders, but if you had to choose celebrities or non wrestling figures to be a part of WrestleMania this year, I'd rather go with guys like Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, and Pat McAfee again than try to figure out someone brand new because we didn't have a lot of high hopes for Logan Paul and we got turned around. We didn't have a lot of hopes for Johnny Knoxville. Now, I don't see Johnny Knoxville be coming back next year, but I mean, we didn't have a lot of hopes for a lot of these guys. They did impress us a little bit. And, instead of building new people, just have Pat McAfee get into a feud. Now, like I said, for me, this would have to be a long term feud, though. This would have to be something that goes on for at least a couple several months.
I mean, right now it would make sense to do this, but I don't think it could tell a story from now till WrestleMania, which I had a thought of a mixed tag team match to start the feud,
Hmm.
which was Carmella and Corey Graves, and Selena Vega needs a partner for that.
I mean, do you really see Pat McAfee and Zelina Vega kicking it off with each other? I mean, I mean, do you see anybody teaming up with Zelina Vega? I mean, I feel like she would have to go through a whole new makeover. I mean, unless Pat McAfee says, "Hey, I felt bad for her. She was Carmella was or Zelina was carrying dead weight from Carmella because she was too worried about her glamorous profile." I mean, I guess you could work on that way, but okay. So if you had an intergender match then at WrestleMania where you saw Zelina Vega and Pat McAfee team up to face Corey Graves and Carmella, would that be something more investing to see or intriguing to see?
I mean, I would be up for seeing that match.
You would be.
I
Okay.
would be instead of a one-on-one with two announcers. I'm not too invested in that again.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, this is gonna probably be a conversation that we finish off here tonight, and then we won't talk about it for the next year until it we actually think it actually it's gonna happen. But I think there was speculations. Like I said, Pat McAfee didn't have a bad performance at WrestleMania, did he?
Mm-mm.
And Corey Graves, listen, he's clear to wrestle now. Whether or not he's rushing to get back in it, I don't think so. I mean, it does take time. Just like Edge, he's out of all the guys who've had to retire and come back. Trey, Corey Graves has been out of in ring of action the longest. Like I said, an injury uh sustained him, and that caused him to have to come down to the commentary team. So, um, I wouldn't mind it. That's pretty well. All right, we're kicking things off here on a Sunday night, our last day of this marathon that we are finally coming across and finishing up on. Kind of just more of a laid back day. We got the shows of the week that we will be presenting. We also have the Fighting Now host Jake will be joining us later on this evening. So, and then I kind of want to get ready for some Tuesday action because the Cincinnati Reds will be home to the Cleveland Guardians, and Joe Burrow will get a chance to throw out that first pitch. Um, I do have couple articles here, nothing too big tonight. Kind of just going over the list. It's really more of a laid back night. Let's try not to fall asleep. Throughout this program. Is there anything that you were excited about this week? Okay, well, listen, while we're up to date talking about this stuff, was there any other WrestleMania matches that we may not have addressed that is worthy enough to be addressed at
Mm,
this moment?
I don't think any WrestleMania match.
Okay.
It's so far as what happened maybe on Monday
Okay.
with a certain someone betraying somebody.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. We have a little bit of time before our first break. Want to bring that up?
Yeah. Monday Night Raw, we seen okay. WrestleMania, you saw Bobby Lashley give Omos his first loss.
Mm-hmm.
And on Monday, um, MVP decided to betray him and align himself with Omos.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is this going to help Omos in the long run?
Mm.
Or is this
Uh,
just to make Bobby Lashley a better baby face?
well, so let's go back and let's ask you, in the last 3 months, how much has MVP helped Bobby Lashley? Let me ask you that. Because since since Bobby Lashley dropped that title and then he went on, he didn't air on TV for a while. Ever since he dropped the title to Big E, I felt like MVP's role as Bobby Lashley's manager was kind of subpar to even almost made no sense because everything Bobby Lashley was doing there on out was on his own. The MVP did not help whatsoever against Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. It was all done between, the almighty Bobby Lashley. And I'm going to be honest, and I was very disappointed to see how this overall Hurt Business really formed, and then the rise and fall of the Hurt Business, because it really relied on all four men. I'm talking about MVP, Bobby Lashley, Cedric Alexander, even Shelton Benjamin, that you just don't see. I mean, we saw I remember you and we're like, I was a little excited for a moment, the fact that Cedric Alexander and I think it was what Raw was it? Was that the one back in September? Or was that the one in January where the Cedric and Shelton came in? It was the one in September because that's the one
Yeah.
we went to the cage. That was with the cage match. Well,
Yep.
the one in September, I was getting a little excited. Maybe jumped the gun too much because I was looking forward to seeing Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander kind of reunite, and they never reunited the Hurt Business whatsoever, really, from there on out. So how much of MVP's action was meant for the Hurt Business compared to him meant for Bobby Lashley in particular?
I mean, I really think he was there just there for the Hurt Business.
Right.
And like you said, after he lost his championship, Big E, Bobby Lashley just kind of went into business himself.
Right. So so moving forward though, Trey, will it benefit Bobby Lashley if MVP sticks around him more? Before we address Omos, is that more likely? Does or does Bobby Lashley benefit if MVP is the one who stays by his side?
I really think that Bobby Lashley can do it by himself.
He's proven it.
No, he's not very good on the microphone,
He doesn't have to be though.
right? But he needs to be by himself.
Right.
He doesn't have
So
that distraction.
therefore, you're trying to throw in a role for you're trying to throw in a role for MVP here, right? Because
Mhm.
maybe he has a contract that's another 6 months. I don't know. What do you do with MVP? Well, right now, I wouldn't say Omos needs MVP because Omos has been doing everything as the opposite of what he says he's going to be doing. And when it comes down to he doesn't really have any control. But if anyone could kind of guide him to success as a singles competitor, I do believe MVP is a perfect candidate right now. That's on the current roster because that's what Omos is missing. I mean, I feel like he's kind of chaotic and he's not organized. He's not put together. He is all over the place, and you need someone to kind of show him that pathway, and that's where MVP comes in front.
I'm really interested in seeing where this MVP management with Omos takes place,
Yeah,
down the line.
because
But I
if you
will.
take those two characters aside, separate each other, right? I see one. I just see them butting heads quite often.
Mhm.
So it's going to be interesting to see if they can both get on the same page.
It's definitely gonna be interesting, and um, no, MVP said something on Monday that Bobby Lashley betrayed him,
Mm.
and not MVP betrayed Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, after he lost that title, Bobby Lashley decided to go into business himself and
Right.
started doing what he wanted to do. So, and that's what MVP is saying is reason why he's attacking him.
I mean, I really don't see that either men betrayed one another. I mean, Bobby Lashley wanted to be moved forward. MVP wanted to kind of go a different direction, and they just didn't see eye to eye. Therefore, for the best interest of Bobby Lashley, I guess that's where you could put it at. But yeah, let's continue this conversation when we come back. We gotta take a time out, you guys. All right. Justin and Trey here on TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. We want to give a shout out and thanks to StreamYard, a proud home of the Justin and Trey. StreamYard Studios is where you could create podcasts, videos, virtual business meetings, and even conduct interviews. Check out their free version at StreamYard.com. All right. Trey, we'll be right back. We'll continue this conversation when we get back here. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back here on Justin and Trey on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
And now, was it weird playing with other teammates, other people that in different teams, like such as Pittsburgh and stuff, playing in the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, it was. Because here's the thing. So when I played, there were safeties, and I'm going to use safeties for an example. Ronnie Lott, Joey Browner, Dennis Smith. Those guys that I watched as a kid growing up. At Arizona State playing football, I got a chance to be on the field with those guys and just kind of reminisce and hold conversation. So it was really, really nice to see that Pro Bowl. And then you get a chance to go to Hawaii, which, if I didn't go to the Pro Bowl, I'm not sure I would have taken a trip to Hawaii. It's just not in the cards. You don't think about it. But to go over there and bring my family over there and kind of just relax and play football and do what I love to do, made it so simple. But yeah, playing against those guys that you see week in and week out on football, on TV, and then get a chance to stand there and talk to them and just talk about, the ins and outs and the love of the game and why you play. It was pretty spectacular.
So I'm gonna kind of prematurely talk about this here. When we consider the shows of the week, okay, we didn't do any shows of the week last week, and that's because I feel like we kind of gotten off to a start of, hey, this was heavily WrestleMania, so we were. I don't feel like I don't want to give us an improper fair share of, all right, this is what we're gonna choose. What we're gonna choose. I don't want you to reveal your show of the week yet, but between Raw and SmackDown, who had the on your edge seat feel
Mm.
between those two products this week?
I mean, while you had Roman Reigns coming out of the main event teasing what's his next opponent, and then he turns around and says, "Hey, if you want to know, come to SmackDown."
And
You've
that failed.
seen that failed. Um, you've seen Edge come out and welcomed what the heck is his
Damian
name?
Priest.
Damian Priest. I had brain fart there. And at WrestleMania, you've seen Damian distract AJ Styles. So I'm gonna say that SmackDown kept me on the edge of my seat
Really?
because you were waiting the entire show to see what Roman Reigns had to say.
Right. You see, I would have easily selected Raw as my, on the edge of your seat, because even though you knew that Roman Reigns was going to be there, that Edge was most likely going to be there, you got to also understand these were guys that were already on your roster, Trey. They
Mhm.
were already going to show up, and Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes was going to be on the Raw roster. It was going to be very dumbfounded if you would have put him on SmackDown. And so you just didn't know what you were going to get out of Cody Rhodes. I especially didn't know what was coming out when Seth Rollins came down, and the fact that he just decided to shake his hand out of all things. So I didn't know that. I also didn't know exactly what was going to happen with Edge. I personally feel, even though you knew a little bit more about what was happening, Raw was at the edge of your seat because there was yet again really nothing big prompted for SmackDown other than Roman Reigns. And like I mentioned, and maybe it has to do with the botch that they had. I wouldn't say botch, but the the lack of information that they gave us. I mean, there was two things that came out of SmackDown that really caught my attention, and that was one, I think forcefully because it was promoted as a main event, was Roman Reigns and the Bloodline and Shinsuke Nakamura. But I
Mhm.
also feel that the other one was Ronda Rousey, because you just didn't know what you were going to expect after that, because everyone. I was disappointed in the fact that one, no one tapped out, right, and the fact for two, um, is that now it's going to be an I Quit match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited for that match. I definitely was not expecting it. And like you said, coming on the Raw, I totally even forgot about Cody Rhodes being on there.
Well, okay,
Um,
so what happened to Brock Lesnar? Did he show up on Raw?
mm-mm,
Did he show up on SmackDown?
no.
So what happened there? I mean, is it that I mean, is it really all just that simple? Where this last 6 months you built up for WrestleMania with Brock and Roman, and then out of nowhere you you know what I'm saying? Like you just I mean You do understand what I'm trying to come, what I'm trying to get out of here. Where like the week after WrestleMania, after this battle that finally happens, you just get nothing.
I mean, if it was that easy to take Brock Lesnar's championship and be done with him, why didn't he do that 6 months ago?
Oh gosh. I mean, then why did you act like you were so afraid of him leading up to it?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's over with. I definitely think he's going to come back for vengeance.
Yeah, and I think one thing they're probably waiting off on is because Charlotte and Ronda did not have that main event that they were promised. So maybe WrestleMania Backlash is that main event that they should have got at night one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know if Roman's injured. Maybe they're letting him have time off and give Charlotte and Ronda the main event.
Well, I personally feel like it makes sense. If the WWE doesn't screw this up, it makes sense that this is the main event. Which one's more humiliating? Tapping out? As good as these two women are, is it better not to tap out, or is it better to say I quit?
Oh,
more humiliation.
I mean, technically, tapping out is saying I quit. I don't want to be in this position anymore. But I'm going to say saying the words I quit is more embarrassing.
I mean, when was the last time did we see an I quit match?
Oh, the last one I could personally think of off the top of my head was John Cena and Batista.
Batista, right?
I mean, I don't remember. Thinking. I mean, there definitely could have been another one, but that's the last one that I remember.
That's the last one I remember too. Please let me know down in the comments if there was another one. So here's the thing. How come they didn't build up to this? Like, you had a platform where you could have had a submission match.
There was.
There definitely was. Okay,
there was an I Quit match. It was Roman versus Jey Uso in the Hell in the Cell. Remember, he had to say I quit, and Roman was gonna do something to Jimmy's
was that after the match though?
That was during the match.
Right. You're right. That was during the match. I've never seen an I Quit match in the Hell in the Cell before, though.
Exactly.
That's just one thing that I'm getting at for Ronda and Charlotte. Like, okay, I understand why you give them the main event. I understand why I don't know why you didn't give them the main event at WrestleMania Night 1, at least kicking off the show, but I understand what you're doing now. But what I don't understand, what I don't grasp, is the fact that they had an opportunity, a platform for a submission match. Like I said, it was given to them on a silver platter. You would think that this match would have led up to a submission, to a I Quit match.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like following this story, see, this is how I'm going at it. No one wanted to see Ronda and Charlotte to begin with. Everyone wanted to see Ronda and Becky because they had some unfinished business. Mm-hmm. No one wanted to see Ronda and Charlotte. So you're given this Ronda and Charlotte match. How do you make it personal? You got Charlotte attacking her family. Now you're using the whole, I'm going to make you tap out. I'm going to make you do this. I'm going to make you do that. And nothing was proven at WrestleMania. If you would have sold me, you're trying to sell me on watching this match. You want me, just imagine every pay-per-view was still $69.99. You're trying to sell me to buy WrestleMania maybe you already got in WrestleMania. You trying to get me to sell on beyond that. I'm like, if you didn't give me what I wanted, which are we the only people on this show requesting a submission match after they talked about it for a month and a half? I'm serious. Are we the only show that talked about that? I mean, apparently we have some crazy ideas.
Man, I've never heard anybody else talking about those two having a submission match besides us.
And wasn't that apparent to what they were trying to exclaim? How they kept on going after each other saying, I'm going to make you tap out? I mean, where is that logic not put in place? Where am I going wrong in this? You know what I'm saying?
And for an example, Ronda Rousey said, you're either going to tap or I'm going to take your arm with me.
And she didn't even put her in that locket for any period of time.
I mean, to me, put them in the submission match.
You should have put them in a submission match, and then you should have, from there, put them in a I quit match afterwards. But maybe, okay, could you have figured out a way that no females would have tapped out, period? Could you, in a submission match, there's only one way to win. It's by having your opponents tap out.
Yeah.
Could there have been a way to have Ronda win the title without Ronda tapping out? Because I feel like when you have Ronda tap out, you're kind of losing a little bit more of her integrity as a pro athlete. And her reputation's already down. So
now, way I would have done it to lead up to an I Quit match was maybe at WrestleMania do a double tap where they're both tapping.
Okay.
Which, there wouldn't have been a winner.
How do you get a submission move on both of them where they're both tapping? That's my next question. What submission move is out there where you can do with both women tapping?
I mean, I'm sure there's a way.
I would love to know. I mean, they've done it often with them, maybe, like being pinned at the same time. But I've never seen two people tap at the same time.
I mean, that would definitely, I'm sure there was a way.
If there's a will, there's a way. All right. Let's transition a little bit into baseball and some other sports before we get Jake on. And then we'll come back around and finish up on wrestling talk. Like I said, the conversation is if once the Usos get the Raw tag titles, right? What does this do for the tag team division? We'll discuss that later on in our program. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button today. Press those notifications and follow every episode. All right, let's cut the break. And I explained this over the week. Today's era, back they did the exact same thing what they're doing today 15 years ago. You talk about like guys like Carlito and Rey Mysterio when the Hardy Boys left the first time. Was that all broken news? No, you were only able to find that news on the WWE website because that was something, and they controlled that. You talk about why they couldn't. Or why, it's all news to us and they're just doing things terrible. And I will say, listen, they're not doing things, they're doing things business as usual. They've been doing this for the last 20 years. And the only difference is that social media and the people have a voice. These athletes have a voice, and they use a voice on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and it stops. Instead of WWE having that voice, it wasn't like Carlito got released back in the early days, and he was able. He could have tweeted out, "Hey, these guys are crap." No. What happened was that if they got lucky, a guy like Chris Masters who got released would have to take a phone call on an interview who talked about wrestling, which, by the way, there wasn't many areas or, radio stations talking about wrestling. There still isn't today. You don't see SportsCenter every single week having guests on that is a professional wrestler. All right. Trey, we are running a campaign that we set up a couple days ago. If you guys would like to support female professional wrestling, all right, they are, I think you and I, like I said, you and I are pretty big advocates of female wrestling. NWF locally has an event called Rising Revolution coming up on May 28th, where it's an all women's NWF and PGWA. It's all women's wrestling. You're going to see women like Riley Matthews, Big Mama, Ella, Selena Dean, Thunder Kitty, Kylie Ray. I mean, so many more. We would like to try to raise some money to donate to them for the 28th and show in our support and care. So if you're not in the local area, you can't go to the event, that's fine. Please send us a little bit. Let's donate. Let's give back to these female wrestlers and show them our support and our love for what they do, as the women's revolution is still rising. Such an incredible venue. You don't see it happen quite often, but I have to make sure I get that out there. I don't normally, I don't normally put that out there. It's like it was one of those things that you have to add on. There's going to be like another read I'm going to have to do in a couple of days. So it's just another read added on to another one, to another one, to another one. But we talked about how all week long history is being made in baseball and all that stuff. You saw that home run back on Friday. I showed you yesterday about that one rookie kid hit a home run while they were interviewing his parents. Here's another interesting one I wanted to throw out there. You Darvish and Shauna Monet. Do you know what team they play for?
No.
Of course not. I'm pulling your leg on that one.
Never even heard of them.
Of course you haven't. Also, they both are starting pitchers for the San Diego Padres, and for the first time since 1901, that two starters on the same team did not allow a hit back-to-back starts to begin the season. Did you understand what I just said there?
Yeah.
So the two starters since 1901, the two starters to kick off day 1 and day 2 of the season did not allow a single hit in their outing, whether they went 5 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings, back-to-back days since the start, since the beginning of the season. Well, on the beginning of the season. Which is still impressive. I mean, pretty incredible thing. But come Tuesday, I know you're going to be more invested because the Cincinnati Reds will face the Cleveland Guardians at home, and they will have the Joe Burrow throw out the first pitch, right? What in your retrospect, how magnitude? What's the magnitude of Joe Burrow throwing out the first pitch for the Reds game?
I mean, it's huge. No, Joe Burrow just came out from playing in the Super Bowl. Everybody's going to be invested in that.
I mean, is there motivation? How much motivation do you think it will give the Bengals, or not the Bengals? I'm sorry, the Reds this season to see the NFL team coming over, show the love, show the support with the Reds?
I mean, that's motivating to me. I have a team that just came from the Super Bowl. That's going to make me want to be better and be going to the playoffs myself.
So what I want to do here is I do have an article that kind of walks us through the Cincinnati home opener and all that stuff. Things, what you need to know. So we're going to play that here after this quick promotional ad. Alrighty. Check out and support your future stars today at NWF Wrestling. See Adam Swayze, Rex, Sean Evans, Ella, Riley Matthews, Big Mama, Great King Titan, and more as they show off their talent in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. Become a part of the NWF Army by heading out to their weekly events. For more information, head on over to nwfwrestling.com. Sorry. I lost train of thought.
You were trying to find something for the opener.
Yes. I just found it. I just had them send it to me. That's why. Duh. All right. So this is now an article I just popped up here from Emily D-Letter. Okay. From Cincinnati Inquiry. The Reds home opener is near. From parades to the first pitch. Here's what you need to know. Okay. The Reds home opener is almost here. The Cincinnati couldn't be more ready to bring back the favorite unofficial holiday and start a baseball this year. It has been a tennis start to the season in Major League Baseball with the lockout, players trades and more. But the Reds will play their first home game of the season against the Cleveland Guardians at a Great American Ballpark on April 12th. This isn't the Reds' first official game of the season. That was April 7th against the defending World Series champion, the Atlanta Braves, at Truist Park in Atlanta. Ready and to finally celebrate the Reds home opener, here's everything that you need to know. All right. When is the Red home opener? Okay, well, this was supposed to be the beginning of the season because the Cincinnati Reds normally take or give usually get the first home game of every season, just because it's kind of like the incentive of being the first team, right, in baseball, or the longest team. Just kind of reading, and I'm just reading this as you read it here. We are so pleased to be back and celebrating opening day. Phil Castellini, or Bob Castellini, Reds president and chief operating officer, said during during the press conference. He said Castellini said that the home opener festivities will include the parade as well as a block party sponsored by Budweiser. The 101 annual Findlay Market Opening Day Parade will begin at noon on April 12th, ahead of the home game against Cleveland Guardians. What's ahead for the home opening day parade, and why you won't ever see a hashtag sell the team Bob float? The parade will begin at Findlay Market on Race Street, heading down the street until it reaches 5th Street, where it will turn east. From there, it will continue until the ending point of Taft Theater. More than 130 organizations have signed up to line up in the parade, including Rosie's Famous Fireworks, Chick-fil-A, Mississippi, Miss Ohio USA Nicole West, Kroger, and Float for Cincinnati Sister City, much more. Okay. I'll just keep on going down. Who's the Grand Marshal for opening day parade? Well, that's Barry Larkin. So Barry Larkin will be the Grand Marshal for this year's parade. Larkin was a 1995 National League MVP, 12-time All-Star, and helped the Reds to win the 1990 World Series. He was also inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame 2012. His number 11 is retired by the Reds. All right, want to know what you want to know? Do you want to know more about the block party, or do you want me to skip that?
I mean, you can skip it.
Okay. You guys could check this out. It's up on our page. The Reds are scheduled to start Tyler Mahle at pitcher. The first pitch is scheduled to be thrown at 4:10 p.m. from the Cincinnati Bengals' Joe Burrow. Gotta be excited about that. We'll throw out the ceremony first pitch. Zach Taylor will catch it, and Jamar Chase will be present. Reds second baseman Jonathan India and his National League Rookie of the Year award. Okay, so Jamar Chase will present the Rookie of the Year award. You think about this. Jamar Chase may get also a Rookie of the Year award too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully, right? So, you know.
Hopefully.
And that was it. That was the article. Yay, we're done. All right. Moving on here while we're at the anything that you're excited to. I know baseball is a hot seat for you, Trey, but is there anything that you're excited to for Tuesday and moving forward on the season? I mean, we already got through the first weekend. They're 2-2. How much more are you expecting the Reds? After what you've seen, they picked up a victory today, 6-3. What else are you expecting to see them do this year?
I'm expecting them to first win on Tuesday because I'm going to be watching. And everybody has doubts on my Reds, but...
So how are you watching, by the way?
How am I watching?
Yeah.
Isn't it on Hulu?
No.
Last time I checked, last week it was.
Let's find out. It will be on Bally Sports.
Guess I won't be watching it.
Will you listen to it?
Probably not. I'm not gonna really know and understand what's going on.
Will you get the Bally Sports app?
Was that to watch it?
Yeah.
I mean, I could.
Are you gonna pay for the subscription?
No, absolutely not.
You won't get the app then, or the. I think that's one thing that really sucks is that Bally Sports You don't have Spectrum. So if you had Spectrum TV, then you could get it.
Maybe I'll ask my mom if I can use her Spectrum app.
Yeah, because it says that you can log in with the Spectrum app.
Yep.
Now, what channel this on, I don't know. But DirecTV, Xfinity, Uverse. Well, the thing is that, so, like, what you're talking about, what you are talking about is games on ESPN. So, for example, on Tuesday at 9:45, you could watch the Padres game. They'll be on TBS, which
I'll
is
fall
now, no, you won't be asleep at 9:45. You don't go to bed until 4:00 in the morning.
I mean, I'll take my sleeping medicine just so I can fall asleep.
Just for the Padres game. I see how it is.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I'm trying to see what else they have. What else are they airing? Because normally they do have ESPN games. Apparently not. So, oh well, that's that. But tomorrow, I believe tomorrow. I just got to find the game. Usually it's like the 7:00 game. I just don't know which one it is. You usually have a game on ESPN. I don't know exactly how the schedule is built this year, which is disappointing. But, well, we'll see what happens there that time. Okay, let me get back to that page. All right, since we're kind of just bypassing time, Tiger Woods finished 47th of the Masters. He didn't win, unfortunately, but he completed it. 4 days, which is a huge accomplishment, and I think in everyone's books. Just the fact that he completed the Masters is a pretty big deal. So congratulations to Tiger Woods.
Yep, congratulations to that legend.
Now he did say in an interview this morning or earlier today that he says that he will play the Open Championship at St. Andrews, but he's not sure about the rest of the PGA season. I mean, this is a guy with metal tubes and rods in his legs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but listen, I think overall the fact that he was able to just go out there and play the entire course. I mean, just by showing up on Monday and taking the first drop and taking the first tee, I think was a huge success. To be able to go out there for 4 days at the Augusta International, which is a pretty big event, and being able to do what he did, I think that's another level. So
yeah,
I give him a lot of kudos for that. Also, man, I just love breaking other news out to you. Probably news that we both don't understand. Brett Favre text messages surface. According to The Spun by Sports Illustrated, NFL World Reacts, former Green Bay Packers star quarterback Brett Favre is once again involved in the apparent scandal in his home state of Mississippi. Previously, the Hall of Fame quarterback was involved in a welfare scandal as Favre had allegedly received some funds from his home state. Now Favre is being named as another notable Mississippi story. The Hall of Fame quarterback is being accused of influencing where Mississippi's welfare funds went. A new report from Anna Wolf of Mississippi Today claims that Favre used his connections to influence where taxpayer funds went. Are you understanding any of this?
not really.
I just understood that last question. So Favre influenced. He used his connections to influence where the taxpayers' money for the state of Mississippi went to. So when you pay taxes for Kentucky because you live in Kentucky, the money goes to fundings for the state, whether that is for the bridge up here that connects Cincinnati, that's for the roads, for the street lights, electricity, all of that stuff to operate the state. That's what you pay taxes for. Well, Favre and his connections with Mississippi and, that he had, used that money elsewhere.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, I mean, so yeah, I mean, some states put the money to, like school districts, other than other stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is where that money went to, which is not. You don't want him to make news. You just don't want him to make news. One more hour here on the show, Trey. We're almost done. I'm tired.
On another news is my Suns are losing.
Last game of the season, huh? They are losing, aren't they? Are they losing?
They were losing at halftime.
73-58. I mean, they're probably benching everybody. I mean, they're not playing until later. Lakers are tied with the Nuggets at halftime, 69 apiece. We're going to have to talk eventually this week how long or how terrible the Lakers are. Probably the worst team in NBA.
Are they so bad that my basketball team could beat them?
Yes. Yes. All right, let's kick off our number 2 with Jake coming on here. Don't go nowhere. Justin and Trey returns on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
You look worried, and maybe you should be, 'cause this is a warning that I'm throwing out, 'cause I'm the worst player that ever will play you, to mix up sweet words with the girl's sanity. Boy, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling.
You could, I mean, you should be able to type in TNC Sports Talk, the Jay and Trey podcast stuff. It's a little difficult to find. Right, but are you seeing this as well as I do? Yep, right. Just making sure because I'm on the link, and you see our 2 logos, the Jay and Trey podcast. So you could click on. Let's say we click on TNC. It's going to open up to the page, and now you could click T-shirt. TNC Sports Talk logos T-shirt. You can get it in different colors, and it shows you the color before buying it. And so I really, hey, we want to get a pink one. Get a pink one. It fits to male, female. And so all I had to do was upload the logo. And it did all this for me. It comes in up to 5X, from small to 5X in male, and up to 3X in female, which I thought was very good.
Well, when I woke up, she was looking at me. She told that I've been cheating on her in her dream. Lord, it wasn't the thing I could do or say to change her mind.
You guys can shop TNC Sports Talk merchandise today at TeePublic. Get your t-shirts, phone cases, mugs, and more. Grab your favorite Sports Talk show gear today by heading on over to www.teepublic.com/user/TNC-sports-talk.
She told me top off her cheek.
Trey, you're gonna get a couple days off. I'm finally gonna get a couple days off. You gotta do what you do best, Trey, and sleep in until 1 o'clock.
Not tomorrow, unfortunately.
All right. Well, what time are you getting up in the morning?
I am getting up at 11:30.
You lucky bastard.
And
I'll be up
Wednesday,
at-
I can't sleep in either.
You can't?
Hmm.
Oh, you're going out again on Wednesday, huh?
I'm going out tomorrow with my grandma, and then Wednesday I have to go to the vet for my dog.
You should just cancel your vacation. I mean, I'm serious.
Why is that?
Just cancel it. We got a lot of guests coming up our way. You don't want to miss out. I mean, you're going to miss a lot of things that's happening over the next week or 2 weeks that you will be gone. I know you're still 3 weeks away, but still.
I'm gonna make a promise right now. If it's snowing when I come back, I will have my Christmas tree up.
Yes. Yeah, let's get some snow, you guys. Let's get that petition going. Just over your complex areas, let's just make sure there's a whole bunch of snow.
Because it's supposed to snow next weekend too.
Oh no. It's supposed to jump up to the mid 70s and or high 60s and low 70s. And I'm just like,
Yeah, I went out today to my grandma's house. It was still chilly. I'm sitting here wearing shorts and I'm stuck outside, so I'm freezing. And then tomorrow it's supposed to be warm, so I'm happy for that.
well, I mean, it all depends. It really all depends. All right. Hey, listen, all guests on our show is provided to you thanks to StreamYard. StreamYard Studios is where you can create podcasts, YouTube videos, host virtual business meetings, and even conduct interviews. Check out their free version today at StreamYard.com. At this time, let's go ahead and welcome on the Fighting Now host, bringing us some emotional statements here because it's been a big roller coaster weekend. Let's say hello and a warm welcome to our man, Jake. Jake, good evening, good morning, good evening. I'm losing track of time. I'm losing track of day. How are you doing, young lad?
I'm doing good, man. Besides getting a chance to work at the new job, definitely been some really good highs, but as of yesterday, definitely a low I don't think myself and many others didn't really expect, to be honest with you.
So I mean, okay, so let's take us back a little bit because as a Pittsburgh fan, we talked. I know you and I talked earlier a little bit today about this, but as a Pittsburgh fan, you really. I mean, not only it took an effort out of, or it took a piece out of everybody in the world, but it took definitely a heavenly piece out of Pittsburgh, and especially as this is a quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, who unfortunately passed away yesterday at the age of 24. This took a huge chunk out of Pittsburgh because this was a guy that maybe wasn't going to be, I don't know, it was too soon to say if he was going to be the new future.
Yeah.
Or the new, franchise face of the franchise for Pittsburgh, but at least he was going to get an opportunity. And now you're kind of like, okay, maybe that Baker Mayfield deal maybe sounds a little bit better now.
Really and truly, I think, as a Pittsburgh fan, I didn't really expect this to be happening. I don't think any of us did because I remember I was at work yesterday and one of my coworkers was wearing like an all things Dolphins, and he's like, someone died, right? And then you text me, I was like, okay, wow. I didn't really expect this to happen, and then I saw something stupid from Adam Schefter, who's the biggest clown in the sports world right now, said. But I'm not going to get to that. But the thing is, though, is like you brought up a really good point. Yeah, I mean, he was definitely a huge part of Pittsburgh. I mean, yeah, he was like a third string. But the thing was at the time, as of yesterday, he was practicing, he was preparing to be able to get a chance to be able to work effortlessly on trying to become the starter, on trying to be able to improve himself because in my opinion, he wasn't really given a chance like he was supposed to. I mean, he ended up getting ended up drafting to a team like Washington, the most bummest team there is in the NFL right now. No offense to Washington fans.
No,
And
there's an offense. There is an offense, Jake. Washington's that terrible.
I mean, very well said. But the thing
They are
was,
so bad that they're stealing the farmers'
Jake,
insurance as their slogan.
Wow.
either way, though,
we are commanders.
either way, we're not talking about Washington. We're talking about Dwayne Haskins. But the thing is, I don't think any of us can ever forget Dwayne Haskins, especially even though his NFL career wasn't really the most tremendous or stupendous, but the thing was that he was a phenomenal Ohio State player, and that
So
everyone
let's
will
break this
recognize
down a
him
little bit more, though, because I'm going to be the bearer of bad news, you guys. Throw rocks at me if you want. But what was the alleged reason on why he passed or why he got hit by a truck?
for.
He was crossing the interstate to get to the other side. Now, listen, I'm gonna let me go off the record here and first by saying there is sympathy. I do feel for the friends and family who lost a loved one. But when you decide that you want to cross the highway on oncoming traffic, you do take life in your own hands. So this is where it touches people. I get it. He passed away. I'm definitely sympathetic. But at the same time we all have to realize, how did he pass? He got hit by a dump truck that was driving on the road. He didn't go. This dump truck did not go drive off the road to go hit him.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't. Dwayne Haskins was not crossing a intersection. He was traveling where he was not supposed to be traveling on foot.
Well, at least like some aspects, at least as people like you get a chance to pretty much try to say the right things. Otherwise, there's other individuals out there. Some people who need to think about what they say before they even say it, because even though Dwayne Haskins, hold on. Even though Dwayne Haskins was the one that decided to pretty much try to run across the road, I get that. But the thing was that the kid was 24 years old.
Right.
He hasn't even got a chance to be able to get the chance or the recognition.
Right.
And I want to get a chance to say this. Let me have the time to say this. I don't care how bad Dwayne Haskins was. I don't care how struggling he was at the time. You don't go and say, well, he was known as the struggling quarterback for Pittsburgh. No. You don't go and say negative things, because imagine his family, imagine his parents getting on Twitter and having to see that BS.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me sick. It makes other sports fans sick their stomachs to see crap like that.
So at the time and place of this moment, just at this moment, what you said was is Adam Schefter?
Yeah,
right?
it
Okay, hold on.
yeah.
All right. Let's clear things up. So Adam Schefter was speaking his opinion about the career of Dwayne Haskins. He's all in the right to do so. He didn't go trash him. He gave his honest opinion. Throughout what we saw in the 2 years, hold on, 3 years, he was not no Drew Brees. He was not no Aaron Rodgers. But why? Because he was with a team like the Washington Commanders that didn't give him that opportunity, that proper platform that he was being given in Pittsburgh, correct?
Yeah. Well,
This is where Adam Schefter goes wrong, because he's not wrong with what he said. He's wrong at what time he said it. Because he could go talk about. Are you going to get mad at him if he says the same thing in August?
That's not my point, though. The point is that there's a difference in between saying that in the coming weeks, not on the day that he died.
So
there's a difference.
Okay, so you just told me that there's good intentions of what I'm trying to point out and this and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there any? Do you think that there was possibly good intentions, that he maybe just reworded it wrong and it came out wrong on Twitter? That's why he took it down so quickly, because he knew that he said, he didn't meant it to come out that way.
No. The thing is that the man doesn't even understand is that he knew exactly what he said, and the fact that this clown is not even fired from ESPN is beyond.
Why fire him? He's one of the greatest reporters of all time.
He's one of the biggest clowns in sports right now, Justin.
No, he's
one of the biggest clowns.
Because you're making him the biggest clown.
Bro, have you not seen what he's been doing lately? The Tom Brady retirement. Because Tom Brady had to come back.
No. All right, let's back up. Let's just resolve this Tom Brady.
You back up, because let me tell you
let's
one
resolve
thing
this Tom Brady retirement.
He
was approached. He was leaked information, and then what do you do as great reporters? You report the information. What happened? Adam Schefter reported that Tom Brady. Hold on, listen to me. Adam Schefter reported as a great reporter. He reported once he got information about Tom Brady possibly retiring. What happened 24 hours afterwards?
You are literally
listen to me. Tom Brady retires, Jake. He retires for 6 weeks. All to come back because it was part of an elaborate scheme. Not because of Adam Schefter said so. That he didn't want to do things off of Adam Schefter per se. He did things because now there's more information about being the reason why Tom Brady retired to begin with was because he wanted Brian Arians to get out of the head coaching position.
Bruce Arians.
Brian, not because of Adam Schefter. That wasn't his fault. He was told information. And then he published information. It became true. It did. Did Tom Brady did he retire at some point in 2022? Tom Brady said that he retired.
6 weeks.
Okay, but listen, that's not Adam's fault that he decided to come back. He could have predicted what was going to.
Who was the one that leaked the news first? It was the clown himself.
Because he was told the information. When you're given that type of information, if Britton Hart was in a fight next Saturday, I'm trying to have this conversation with you. If Britton Hart was in a fight next Saturday and you knew 100% that she was going to win, what are you going to do? I'd go put money on her right away. I would go tell everybody to get advantage of that.
But see,
Adam Schefter was given a storyline on a silver platter. As a reporter, you want to be the first guy to report it. You get that spotlight when you're the first guy to report it. He was the first guy to report it. He got the credit because you know what? It happened.
Justin,
he's not a clown because what he said came true.
Just even listen to me, bro. Stop interrupting me and just listen to me. Here's what I'm going to try to tell you: is that the thing is, though, is that if you immediately want to go by what people are saying, at least confirm it by the person themselves. Tom Brady,
he had that conversation with Tom Brady.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that does that mean to go ahead and spoil it out to other people? No.
Yes, as a reporter, that's what you do. That's what you get paid to do.
Seriously defending probably the worst sports investigators there is.
He is probably okay. Then let me ask you that question that you asked me. Why does he still have a job if he's that terrible? Why does he still have a job?
Just because he has a job doesn't mean that people should believe him. I mean, after yesterday, do you really think people are going to believe him after what he said yesterday? Absolutely.
Everyone in the sports world, if it doesn't come out of Adam Schefter's tweets or mouth, then no one confirms it.
See, this the problem. That's the problem is that people want to defend him. If you guys want to defend him, that's fine. But I'm telling you, he's the biggest joke right now in sports. Adam Schefter is the biggest joke
For
right
what?
now, and I'm sticking to it.
For what?
The man is wrong most of the time.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
When is he wrong?
Bro, he is most.
Okay, let me ask you. Okay, let's go back to this. Is he wrong about Dwayne Haskins in his career?
Do you really want to go ahead and judge a man, especially since the man died yesterday?
I'm not judging a man for what he's
that?
doing tomorrow. I'm judging him for what he did in his last 3
What
years.
his family's going through. Just imagine what his
But
family's
it's going to
through.
happen. If it happens today or if it happens in 6 months, Jake, if it happens today or if it happens in 6 months, what makes it? What's the difference?
And just let me just go ahead and just tell you this right now. I'm not the only person. Other people in the sports world, high celebs, actually think he's a clown. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired tomorrow. Because let me tell you this, though.
And he could go get fired from ESPN and he'll get another job the next day.
As wrong as he is about pretty much most of the time in his entire career,
What do you mean? Okay, give me a reason where he's wrong.
2010, the whole Brett Favre sexual allegations. He pretty much said a lot of BS and he was wrong then. Bro, he is wrong most of the time. I mean, I'm telling you. And plus, and why defend a man who on the day that someone died decided to bash him? I mean,
he didn't bash him. He was giving you a authentic opinion about what he did in his career.
But on the day that he dies, though, I can see it.
Maybe he wasn't a smart
I can
person.
see it I can see it about a couple of weeks from now. But on the day that the freaking kid dies,
okay,
that's when you're crazy.
I'll give you that. Maybe he was stupid for saying that on the day he passed.
He's more than stupid.
Listen, you go say that 3 months from now, Jake, and then that's another story. That's perfectly fine. So it was the timing he said it. But is he wrong? Is any of the information that he said against Dwayne Haskins wrong overall? Besides the timing.
That's not even my point, though. Justin, why he bothered?
So you're telling me though that he's given us wrong information, but yet again, his track record showed that he gives us more information.
I'm not even saying that there's wrong information. As a matter of fact, it's just my problem is that the dude needs to understand freaking respect, and he clearly doesn't have no respect. And the thing is, though, is that he can't even handle the heat because you know why? It's because he can't even let people tweet at him because of how wrong and how stupid he is. That goes to show how much of a coward Adam Schefter is, and I'm sticking to it. Adam Schefter is one of the worst, and I mean the worst individuals in sports right now.
And yet again, you still get your information from him. So, I mean, you're just feeding.
Well, then again, I don't have to. I mean,
everything that gets reported through him. It doesn't happen unless it gets reported through him.
Not all times has to go through a clown. If anything, there can be all times where it can go through the NFL.
The NFL, right? But and who is the leading reporter for the NFL? Adam Schefter.
Not Adam Schefter in my eyes. Not no.
I mean, he's the only one out there that gives you the more accurate information.
He may give the most accurate, but the thing is, his accuracy is pretty wrong in my opinion. That's just the way I feel about it.
So you're telling that his correct information is wrong.
Yes, yeah, because the dude is a joke. I mean, the dude is a joke.
Because you have generated an opinion. All right, so you have generated an opinion because he inappropriately made a statement about Dwayne Haskins at the wrong time. Hold on. So now you call him a coward, and now you're saying that the correct information that he gives you is incorrect. I'm trying to put the 2 and 2 together. It doesn't come up to me.
Right.
I don't disagree that what Adam Schefter did was correct. He posted a tweet about Dwayne Haskins' career and saying how basically jumping to the case how he was based off the information that was given, he was not a good quarterback. Not a good time or place to do that yesterday, right?
Right.
But okay, and as a reporter, you don't get everything correct. You don't. There's stuff that we say on our show that's not correct.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say is that he is at the top of the food chain. Majority of the world says if Adam Schefter doesn't report it, then it's not true or it's not confirmed. If there is a blockbuster deal, it doesn't. No one, unless the teams come out and actually say it, or Adam Schefter does, it doesn't happen. It's not locked in stone. So then you just tell me that even though he does give accurate information, let's go back to Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he announced that Tom Brady was going to retire. What happened?
Yep. He did.
He retired. Whether that was for 6 weeks or for the rest of his career, he retired. Point blank, period. So where was Adam Schefter wrong reporting, saying that he was going to retire?
I don't see nothing wrong about that.
Now, I'm not saying that what he did was right. What I'm saying though is it happens. And yeah, you can get as much hit as possible, but he's still a valued reporter.
What he said was true, but the timing of when he put it out was incorrect. It was wrong for him to do that. Maybe he could have done it 2 weeks from now.
And I think what hurts us the most about all of this is the fact that instead of let's celebrate the life of Dwayne Haskins, such a young guy that that didn't even get a chance to show his potential in this NFL world because he was giving that with the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We have to, this is a bigger story. This is a bigger distraction than what is the big picture. And listen, call me. Once again, I am not giving any. I am remorseful. I'm grieving over the loss. We lost a talented player. You make it to the NFL is a once in a lifetime thing. Not everyone can say that they've done that, right?
Yeah.
I'm mourning over the loss, but to a certain extent. You want the whole world to stop and look at you. It wasn't the Kobe Bryant situation where a helicopter went down. It wasn't him driving a car and he got into a car wreck. It wasn't part of when I even go to this extent. It wasn't like maybe he got shot or something like that. He crossed the street, a highway, and got hit by a car. So
I mean, on the expressway, they're going 70, 80 miles an hour, and
So I'm sorry if I don't jump to everyone's reaction and say, "Oh my goodness, this is the most terrifying thing in the world." It is or the most devastating thing in the world. It is devastating. Trust me, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But to the level of extent.
I don't want to be that person, but it seems like the Pittsburgh fans are more aggravated at people talking like this or giving their honest opinion of what happened because it was a Pittsburgh player.
Right.
And I feel like that's why Jake acted the way he did.
And it could have been, it could have been as something as, even as far as he was potentially the next greatest, next big thing for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Now, if that was someone, for instance, from the Bengals, there's no way he's going to act like that. It's because that was a Pittsburgh player.
Shoot, I may get killed tomorrow because of it. Well, I may get a lot of heat from it tomorrow because of it, but that's fine. I'm not bashing Dwayne Haskins.
Right.
I believe there's a little bit more over exercise that is being taken to him or because of this. And that's where I'm not defending Adam Scheffner, but at the same time, you're decrediting for the things that he's done. And you're great. You're in your own opinion. He may not be the greatest reporter of them all time. Let's go back to Ken Rosenthal. Was an MLB reporter, the biggest one, the number one guy. If it didn't come out of his mouth, it never been confirmed. Right? He was the first guy to get all the big stories. He got released by MLB Network because he said one bad thing about the commissioner. He spoke the truth.
Now it's the same way with pro wrestling. If Dave Meltzer don't report it, then it's not true.
Right. I mean,
and
how
he's
many
one of the
sources?
biggest clowns there is.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out the comparison, Trey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sucked. I was gonna ask him about greatest tag team and all that good stuff.
Right.
But well, hey everyone, that was Fighting Now host Jake Hunter, and maybe let him cool down. He'll come back on another day, maybe. Let's take a break. Let's come right back and kind of wrap things up. Let's talk about the Usos and the tag team division, shows of the week, much more coming your way here in a moment. And I explained this over the week. Today's era, back they did the exact same thing what they're doing today 15 years ago. You talk about like guys like Carlito and Rey Mysterio when the Hardy Boys left the first time. Was that all broken news? No, you were only able to find that news on the WWE website because that was something, and they controlled that. You talk about why they couldn't. Or why, it's all news to us and they're just doing things terrible. And I will say, listen, they're not doing things, they're doing things business as usual. They've been doing this for the last 20 years. And the only difference is that social media and the people have a voice. These athletes have a voice and they use a voice on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. And it stops and instead of WWE having that voice, it wasn't like Carlito got released back in the early days and he was able, he could have tweeted out, hey, these guys are crap. No. What happened was that if they got lucky, a guy like Chris Masters who got released would have to take a phone call on an interview who talked about wrestling, which by the way, there wasn't many areas or radio stations talking about wrestling. There still isn't today. You don't see SportsCenter every single week having guests on that is a professional wrestler.
true love, boo. Look, this ain't true love, this ain't me right here, so I'm gonna leave you. Can be with someone who doesn't care. You're running, running,
What was that?
running, running away
Hmm.
from a problem.
What was that?
So here we
Jake.
stand on the edge tonight. There's no turning back now. I've been weak for 3 damn weeks. I can't think straight.
What did he say?
I cry and I cry and I cry.
I called him out for it.
It's time to say goodbye.
I did.
Well, I thank you for our conversation. All music coming to you live. Thank you to Epidemic Sound. Discover your world-class artists, composers, and bands. Find your perfect soundtrack and give your social media accounts the music they deserve. Epidemicsound.com is a royalty-free music link for more information. Check them out at epidemicsound.com today. What did you say?
You did thank him for your conversation?
I said, hey, thank you for being on our show. I mean, he did come on, right?
He did.
I mean, you don't have to like it.
I guess so.
I mean, I guess okay. Here's my point. I won the battle.
Mhm.
When it came down to Jake, I won it. Point blank and serious. Listen, I'll use my own words. I'm not saying what he did was wrong. All right. I mean, hey, reports. ESPN, Adam Schefter did not turn on safety mode. I mean, and sometimes, listen, sometimes, let me put it this way. Here's the last thing I'll say about this. Sometimes it's best when you do something like that and you fucked up, and he knows he fucked up, right? He said something prematurely. Just stay low. Don't respond back to anybody, because now everything else you say beyond this point is going to come back and hurt you.
Right.
So stay low, stay on the down low. Don't comment, don't say nothing, and let it pass by. And like I said, I'm not saying he's perfect. He's not going to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect. And yes, he's going to eat a lot of this heat, but we're all going to both blow past it.
Yep.
I mean,
Is what it is.
I got my blood pressure going up here, Woke me up for a little bit.
That's all that counts, right?
All right. You want to hear an update from Monday Night Raw?
Yeah.
Here's an update on ticket sales from Monday Night Raw. I don't know if you saw this one. WWE will hold Raw from Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan on Monday night. Wrestle Tickets noted on Patron that the show has sold 5,917 tickets, and there are only 1,306 left. The match card is supposed to have Cody Rhodes take on Raw, the first match Cody Rhodes is supposed to have since returning, or on Raw, right? AJ Styles takes on Damian Priest. WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, Sasha Banks and Naomi takes on, once again, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Rey Mysterio takes on Veer Mahan. And then you have the MVP Lounge with Omos. So
doesn't seem like a good Raw to me.
But I will say you will still be watching it.
I sure will, and I guarantee, I'm doing it right now, I guarantee there will be a heel turn on Monday.
Who?
It will be Rhea Ripley turning her back on Liv Morgan.
Why?
She's rumored to be aligning herself with Edge and Damian Priest.
Oh, no. Out of anyone, why don't you just put Alexa Bliss?
I don't know.
I mean, they just... I'm serious. It's stupid, is it not?
I mean, it is, because there's not very many women's tag teams.
And
But-
they are just the new hottest thing right now.
yeah.
Like, why? Oh no.
So
You know, like,
does this mean that, the Nikki ASH feud didn't even go on that long? And I guarantee this one's not going to go on that long.
I mean, okay, then you would have AJ Styles and Liv Morgan together, which now you have to kind of re-image Liv Morgan again. And who else can you throw this in the mix? I mean, Finn Balor?
It'd be,
Oh.
yeah, I would put Finn Balor in there.
No, 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 no. Why?
That's my guess. I'm putting out there, Rhea Ripley will turn heel on Monday night.
Like, you can't wait until, like, pay-per-view? Premium Live? Backlash?
No, because I won't be here to watch it. Needs to happen now.
You can't watch Backlash from your phone? Yes, you will be here. You come back that day.
I won't be here until late that night.
And you could turn on your phone on the way back.
My phone will be GPS.
Well, the last phone that could be on GPS will be hers. The last home stretch. She can make 4 hours.
She could.
Keep your phone on charge. Or just log in on her phone. Bring your tablet.
Have to have Wi-Fi for that.
I'll let you have my Wi-Fi box for the week.
Do they have a Wi-Fi box?
So it's those mini Wi-Fi boxes that the like T-Mobile and Verizon carries. You buy them, and it's like a hotspot almost, and
Oh.
it's like a portable Wi-Fi that you can connect your phone to that Wi-Fi. So if you didn't have, so like if you're at a store that didn't have Wi-Fi, you had to log in. You just logged into yours, turn yours on, and that will connect off to the hotspot that the store's Wi-Fi was connected off of. Yeah,
I mean, do you have to have T-Mobile to do that?
maybe, I don't know. I haven't like used it since I got it. That was like 4 years ago. But I was like, better safe than sorry. I mean, you never know. It saves. Let me put it this way: it saves data, right? You don't have to use data. But
Interesting.
I am sorry. We are just sitting here waiting. All right, let's talk about the tag team situation here coming up next on Justin and Trey. All right, join Steve Barber and Dwayne Davis as they break down wrestling news and highlights in professional wrestling. Armchair Booking Podcast is a weekly wrestling podcast found on YouTube and all audio streaming platforms. Go check out and follow Armchair Booking now. All right. How's things going over there?
You can hear it.
I mean, I'm kind of just, like, it's so bad.
Yeah. I know, I'm freezing. My hands are cold. I'm ready to cuddle up under a blanket and just fall asleep.
Fall asleep in your bed this time so you don't have a cranked neck.
That's true.
All right. All right. Let's what's going on? All right. obviously we should be hearing something also on Monday about the Usos trying to go after the Raw tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the direction that we're going in for the bloodline is for a whole nother year. Unfortunately. At least until the Royal Rumble. Can the WWE pull off the bloodline having all the titles for a whole year? Or will that or let me ask you this, because the WWE was hurt this year by the lack of talent that was coming across the WrestleMania card. You had to rely heavily on celebrities or part-timers, guys like Edge, Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, part-timers, right?
Yeah.
And now you come into this year's WrestleMania, or coming into the next, because setting up for the next year's WrestleMania here. And if you put all the titles on the bloodline, what you're doing in the WWE is stating that you only got 3 guys up top and everyone else is way down here not building crap. Because God knows, I don't know what the hell they're doing with the IC title or the US title. So, Trey, at the end of the day, is this a smart business move when it comes down to creating an upcoming talent? You talked about guys like Drew McIntyre, and he's a prime example on why he wasn't, on what, when I stated that he was not at the Brock Lesnar readiness yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's because he's not being put in that opportunity. He's not being highlighted as one. You can't do that if Roman Reigns has both titles. You can't do that with the tag team division, which that sucks, and they've sucked for the last year and a half. If you have the titles on one team.
I mean, you have good teams like the Viking Raiders, which I'm not a fan of, but they are talented.
All right.
You
Well,
have
okay.
teams.
I know you said that they're talented, but it's just how talented are they? How talented are they if they just got destroyed by Omos?
That's true. You have teams like the Street Profits that should be in that title picture.
What about the Mysterios? I mean,
You got
which
Dolph Ziggler and Bobby
Robert
Roode
Roode.
that should be in there.
I thought Imperium was going to be a good person to be put into the mix. So Marcel Barthel, or Fabian Ackner, or whatever his name is. The thing is that now you're bringing guys up like Gunther. He's a guy that they hit and miss with Commander Aziz. They are missing with Omos, which I think this is like another rejuvenation, maybe. I got a feeling they're going to miss with Gunther. I got that gut feeling that they're going to miss that opportunity with Gunther, especially since you understand how much these titles mean to be on different brands.
Yeah.
And how important it is, because you talk about Cody Rhodes wanting a title shot. How is he getting a title shot?
I don't know.
And now you can't. It's not like if the Usos go on and capture both the Raw and SmackDown tag titles, you can't create a new title for Raw.
I mean, That's why I think that they're doing unifying the titles. Like you said with Fox, they want their own belt, own championship. Maybe that's what they want for the tag team titles because they look the same, different straps.
Okay, but then what about the SmackDown Women's Championship? Because they're identical.
Yeah,
One's red, one's blue,
and I'm sure that they will get that next.
and they look exactly like the Universal Championship.
Hmm.
So, how do you distinctly change that? Because are you really going to take the title off of Bianca or Charlotte, for that matter?
I think coming up at Backlash, it will be
Okay.
Ronda Rousey. You ain't gonna take that title off of her. You ain't gonna take the title off of Bianca either.
Right. So that now you're stuck in a crossfire. So then let me ask you this. Remember the idea and thought process I had with when they first unified the titles? How the title goes back and forth between Raw and SmackDown?
Yeah,
Could you do the same with the tag titles? And then what you do is the IC title and the US title gets brought up as the main event, right?
yeah,
And then it gets, then the women's title on its respected brand. I guess you would almost be like, okay, well, it's either that or I was, I'm just left field thinking.
hmm
Are you okay over there?
yeah. Also, I know this is a different. It still involves this, but I read an article a couple days ago that this is interesting. That Roman has the titles, the Usos has the titles, Naomi has a title, which those all tie into the bloodline basically.
Right.
And there's only one person that don't have the title, which he has a title match on Tuesday.
Solo Sikoa.
So if Solo wins that title on Tuesday, all of the bloodline will have titles.
Okay, so if Naomi is not considered the bloodline yet.
I mean, they're married.
You're right, but they have not storylined the
Right.
titles.
And the whole family right there will have a title. And I think that's interesting to me. I just wanted to bring that up, and to me that was interesting.
That's an interesting thought, but that doesn't mean they dominated that. The bloodline's dominating SmackDown.
Yeah.
The bloodline, I would love to see. So now he's trying to dominate Raw, dominate NXT. But then where do you go from there? See, that's the problem, because how long can you really, like I said, a business perspective, can you really, we got 5 people from the bloodline.
Yeah.
Taking over the WWE.
Exactly.
How long can that business last before it gets stale?
I don't know. Apparently Roman Reigns is behind all this. Apparently
that's
he's
fine.
doing a great job at it.
Well, okay, so I've also heard that he's not the only person behind it. Paul Heyman's behind it.
Paul Heyman
It
too,
was
yeah.
Paul Heyman's and Roman Reigns' idea to tell this story from the beginning. And that's why they've been pairing him up so, closely. You want to talk about how close Paul Heyman is with this, with Roman Reigns and his family. Yeah, he's 2 peas in the pod. I remember he's given some of them their first chances. Believed in them. I mean, I just that's
Yeah,
going to
I
be
mean,
interesting to see. I mean, I just don't know. It's like if you're creating another aces and eights, but not a full on team. So here's the thing, and I'm starting to see the WWE get these fractions. You got Edge and his fraction. You have. That's pretty much it. I mean, Imperium would have been nice to be brought up.
yeah.
I would have liked to see Imperium brought up as a whole and see that infraction. But I'm just wondering now, where does this lead moving forward? Because you're focusing around this, which is great, but how are you going to build these other stars up? And what are you going to do for Cody? I mean, what is there for Cody right now? I mean, yeah, he is the Miz his first long feud?
I mean, I honestly thought it was Seth Rollins.
Right.
But
well, I mean, I feel like you hit with Seth Rollins, you jump to another feud, and then it comes right back around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just gave people a taste of what you're going to see later down the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then go jump off with the Miz. I'm just surprised that the Miz is so quickly with Veer Mahan. Like what's going on with Veer Mahan?
I mean, honestly, I don't even remotely care.
Like, how is this doing any good for Rey Mysterio to face Veer Mahan? Or Dominic? I mean,
Dominic, no, but for Veer to destroy a legend like Rey Mysterio,
for
Veer,
it does a lot. Well, I'm talking about Ray.
What Ray doesn't do nothing.
No. Matter of fact, this is just getting back and kind of a payback for what happened last week. But at some point, you're going to get Dominic in there. And while Veer is trying to promote himself and win each match, you also have the same thing coming out of Dominic. And we've already talked about how they've ruined Dominic almost.
Yeah.
Sadly, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we need to cover?
No.
Shows of the week.
Shows of the week.
We're bringing that back. I thought that would never come back anytime quicker. All right. Shows of the week. We pick our previous week's show, what we think came out on top. Trey, let's get started with you.
The Raw was not what I expected. It was supposed to be the biggest Raw of the year. SmackDown, I expected the same thing. We did not get that. But AEW, you had great matches. Samoa Joe making his AEW debut against Matt Caster. You had FTR versus the Young Bucks, an amazing match. Then you had Christian Cage versus Adam Cole, which I really enjoyed. So, out of the whole week, AEW gave me the better show, the better matches.
Dynamite or Rampage?
Dynamite.
Okay.
You also saw that tables match, which that tables match, in my opinion, sucked. It was confusing. So my answer this week is going to be Dynamite.
I'm going NXT 2.0. Now, you're right. Raw did not bring up excitement. They had, there was just a lot of questions that you had with Raw. Same thing, and a lot of teases that didn't follow through on SmackDown. Like you said, Trey, this was supposed to be the week of returns, the big week. This is like a brand new start for all men. in the and women in the roster,
Yeah.
and we didn't see that at all. Maybe other than the New Day. So, in a personal opinion, Raw and SmackDown's off the table. Now, I think it's great seeing an AEW Dynamite and Rampage doing what they did.
Mhm.
But I think I was more excited to see what's going to happen at NXT 2.0. Now, there are things that still don't make sense to me because how do you put... Obviously, you had MSK vacating the titles. How were you going to put the titles on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez and then take them off and put them back on Toxic Attraction? That was like, what's the point of that?
But
Braun Breaker and Gunther, I felt like there was supposed to be a little bit more built up, but it did get you at the edge of your seat. Now, I would have said Rampage, right? Because that was the day that Wheeler Yuta joined the club,
Mhm.
right? But that was the only thing coming out of Rampage that was significant enough. So I think altogether as a show, NXT 2.0 for me had to be the show. And there you have it. Shows
Good
of the
picks.
week. All right. We made it at the end of the show.
Yes.
I'm ready to go home.
Sounds good to me.
We will be back on Wednesday. I have somebody on Wednesday. I'll have to let you guys know. I don't have the calendar in front of me. I do have a guest on Wednesday. So you will be back Thursday. Did you try anything so far?
I have.
I've had some positives and negative experiences already. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't want to go into deeper conversations in this, but it just didn't fit me like it used to. If you know what I mean. That's all I'm
Yep.
gonna say. But okay, it's interesting. I think it's is it a product that you could is it something that you could get on the board with?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let's get on board with it. But
I thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys sticking with us through this whole week.
take us out.
I hope everybody has a great night, and we shall see you guys on Wednesday. Till then, peace.